What's up, nerds? I'm Kandrak, your not-so-friendly neighborhood otaku, and welcome to my channel where I talk all things anime, manga, manhwa, webcomics, and cosplay. If that's the type of thing you're into, then make sure to subscribe. Today, I'll be talking about some newer romance anime that I absolutely hated, and before we get started, let me be clear. These are my opinions, and they may differ from yours. That being said, if you actually like the anime series that I'm about to mention, I don't want to fucking hear it. Don't hop into the comments with some half-baked defense because your argument is already invalid. These shows are objectively horseshit, and yes, I said objectively. I know some of y'all are gonna want to pull the, oh, but Kandrak, artist subjective card. What is English class then? Or literature class, depending on what your school called it. You read, watch, or write something, dissect it, and evaluate it based on actual standards. We're talking about character likability, proactive development, plot consistency, narrative purpose, and so much more. And guess what? The romance anime I'm about to mention all fail to meet those standards. I do not brand myself as your not-so-friendly neighborhood otaku for shits and gigs. I'm here to call out garbage when I see it, and these romance anime belong in the trash. So if you're still with me, let's get into some new-gen romance anime that deserve to be exiled from the genre. Now, before I start dragging these series to the depths of anime hell, let's talk about what actually makes a good romance anime, a memo these mangaka clearly missed. At the bare minimum, we need two things. One, believable chemistry, and two, characters that actually grow. None of this one person does literally everything in the relationship while the other person stares blankly off into the distance and we call it love. And absolutely not this stalker showed up, never left, and has been love bombing me, so I guess they're my soulmate now. And definitely not, here is a checklist of tired tropes that we have glued together with nothing but vibes and plot holes. Romance needs tension, it needs payoff, it needs characters who actually feel human, not just cardboard cutouts of shoujo stereotypes. If your main couple has less chemistry than noble gases, a fun little chemistry joke for some of y'all, I'm checking out. Merely being near each other or in the same room for 12 episodes does not a relationship make. I'm looking for depth, not just shared screen time. Alright, now that we've set the standard, let's tear into these flaming piles of narrative disappointment. Up first, in no particular order, is Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. Why the fuck is a series that was written in the 21st century making the conscious decision to write in pedophilia? This series is set in a historical time which didn't actually have a lower age of adulthood than we do now. That's a misconception. And the world is fantastical, meaning it's made up. It's a fake world. So there's absolutely no reason they needed to have the FL say, oh, I just turned 14, but that's considered the legal age of adulthood here. No, it's fucking not. The mangaka made a conscious decision to write in thinly veiled pedophilia by having the FL underage to such a point she still may be prepubescent. There is literally no reason why they couldn't have just made her 18. They are fucking weird for making her 14 and trying to tell us that that's an adult. And I'm sick of people ignoring the amount of thinly veiled pedophilia in anime. She looks like a child, she acts like a child, she is a child. Not to mention, the love interest in this series is a 300-plus-year-old fairy that she bought at the fairy slave trade. So to restate this, the romance is happening between a 14-year-old little girl and a 300-plus-year-old grown man fairy that she purchased. And even outside of the horrible setup that we have just right there, we could end it then, and this would be enough of a reason to call this series bullshit. There's also the boy that was obsessed with her, that literally sicked dogs on her and attempted to murder her so that he could steal her sugar sculpture. And we just forgive him? I know he does get some pushback, he does face something for doing this, but it's like a slap on the wrist. I think I gave the series a 3 out of 10 and forced myself to watch the entire first season, but I really could have dropped this the second that the FL's age and the slave trade came up. Again, she purchased him and he's supposed to be the ML. What the fuck are we doing? Up next, we have A Condition Called Love. Now, I wanted to drop this series after the first episode. I fucking hated this series and I do not understand why anyone likes it. There were so many people that recommended this manga to me, but I knew an anime was coming out, so I said, oh, I'll hold off, I'll watch the anime and then see if it's something that I want to continue reading from there. And I'm glad I did, because if I would have just trusted them and taken their recommendations, I'd have been so pissed. Honestly, I'll never trust a recommendation from them again. That's how bad this series is. This boy gets dumped openly at a cafe and then decides to go sulk on a park bench while it's snowing. The FL who saw him get dumped and now sees him sulking on a park bench out in the snow, out of the kindness of her heart, offers him an umbrella knowing that he's had a rough day and that if he stays out in the freezing winter getting wet from the snow, he's probably gonna get sick. She offers him the most basic level of comfort by saying something all along the lines of, "I hope you're doing okay, stay safe," which is literally what anyone with a single shred of empathy would do in that scenario. Which tells me as a viewer that what happens next could have happened to literally anyone. It didn't need to be the FL. If another girl comforted him first, this would be her story. The next day, this boy, after I'm assuming having cyber-stalked her so he could find out who she is and what class she's in, goes to her class and confesses to her in front of everyone the day after he gets dumped. Again, they do not know each other. He is essentially a stranger that just goes to the same school. So breaking that down, out of nowhere, she's ambushed by a boy she does not know. He traps her and prevents her from leaving by drawing the attention of everyone else in her class, and then he claims he loves her. Then when she turns him down, he keeps fucking stalking and harassing her. He's essentially love bombing her the whole time, and in the beginning she's like, dude, I don't know you. Not to mention he even changes his appearance for her, which she never asked him to do, because when he asked what style she likes, of course she was thinking about what style she likes for herself, because again, she does not know him. Why would she tell him to change something about himself when he's a complete stranger to her? Again, this is weird as fuck, and I need us to recognize this. At its foundation, this is bad writing. The inciting incident is dumb as fuck. She literally just gave him an umbrella, and again, as I noted, it could have happened to anyone else who comforted him first. It didn't have to be the FL. The plot is shit because again, it's him stalking her and her eventually giving in, which also just makes the character likability and their relationship development horrible. I could not find a single reason to like this series. I forced myself to give this to the halfway point, so like episode 6 or 7, hoping that there would be a fantastical element to this that gets revealed, like he literally gets lovesickness, but there never was. I do not recommend this series to anyone, and I do think we need to take that step back and have an objective lens. Again, this man is stalking, love bombing, and coercing her. That is bad. That is not a romance. That is a horror story. And lastly, we have Honey Lemon Soda, which I also dropped at the halfway point, so around episode 6 or 7. I really wanted to like this series and give it a shot, but the plot and character development was just bad. Now, the FL, I completely understand. I know some people have complained about how much she cries, but the girl was bullied and has social anxiety. She's just a loner that's trying to get out of her shell. That is a valid background and reason for her to act that way. She's allowed to cry and be scared of social interactions because that's the background we gave her. However, while her desire to grow and change is commendable, she's not proactive about it. It's almost as if the character development happens to her rather than her being the driving force of it. Now, the ML is where most of my issues lie with this series. He's set up to be this aloof, mysterious savior type, which I'm not a huge fan of to begin with, but in practice, he reads as more emotionally manipulative. His behavior toes the line between controlling and gaslighting, and his treatment of the FL comes off less as support and more like dominance disguised as affection. This obviously creates a power dynamic that comes off as more toxic than endearing. Also, the way that the story progresses, it feels more like they're just ticking off shoujo tropes, but they're lacking the necessary buildup that provides the emotional payoff. Because of this, the series isn't really working towards any meaningful arc that would keep the viewers invested. Rather, it's just a collection of shallow moments strung together to create the illusion of romance and growth, without any real emotional depth or narrative cohesion. Each trope feels unearned, making the series come off as more of a highlight of shoujo cliches rather than a fully developed romance. If you made it all the way to the end, then congratulations, you either agree with me or you are hate watching, which honestly respect. And remember, it's okay to like trash as long as you recognize that it's trash. I personally am a really big fan of bad movies and bad TV to the point that I literally listened to a podcast about it. Sharknado is a shit movie, but it's funny. These anime are shit anime, but they are acting like they're not. And the difference between a good bad movie or bad series and a bad movie and bad series is if they know they're bad or not. These anime all present themselves to us as if they are good, when in reality they're just not meeting these basic standards that we set. Think of how Psyche K includes a bunch of tropes and tropes that are hated on in a humorous way that lets the audience know like, hey, we're joking with you, we also think this is bad. These anime series did not do that. They legitimately think they're good, when in reality, oh boy, is that a heaping pile of shit. So if you personally think any of the animes that I mentioned are peak romance, we have to be watching different shows. I think that's enough of my rant for now. Let me know if you like this and want me to do it for other series that I watch, but that is all for today, folks, and I will see you next time.